All right, so let's talk about 124 here, DLL hijacking. So what do you need? You need a Windows 10 machine, and you need Visual Studio and a few other tools. So if you're using the Windows 10 machine that you downloaded from me, it's got all this stuff in it. And it's already got Windows Defender and everything disabled, so you can skip past this. All right, what we're going to do is show you how to hijack DLLs. So the first thing you have to do is create a malicious DLL. You're going to use the Metasploit framework to create a malicious DLL. This is a tool we use a lot in pen testing. It creates malware. It's very easy, but this malware is well known and easily caught with antivirus tools will catch it. And it is in many ways pretty rudimentary malware, as we're going to see here. But anyway, I run as administrator, okay, and get a command prompt. And then I move into downloads, which is going to be users, user, or maybe it's student. Student, okay, downloads. All right, so now I'm in there. Now I want to execute that command. I'd make that window bigger if it would let me. Yeah, might be too much bother. All right, there we are. Not having any luck trying to grab the side and make this window bigger. Oh, there we are, finally got it. All right, now I should be able to paste in. Edit, paste. Nope, won't let me. I mean, this copy must not have worked. All right, let's try to copy this thing again. Weird things. This remote control is a little slow. Copy, there we go. Right click should paste. Oh, that's the image. Whoops, Alt Tab, there. There we are. So here's the command. You run the Metasploit framework and run MSF Venom, which is the tool that creates malware. And I tell it I want to use this exploit, shell bind TCP, which will open a listening port and let anybody that connects have a remote shell. It'll make a DLL file, that's the format, and it'll call it shellbind.dll. So I run it, and looks like I've got a problem. Maybe Metasploit is not installed. dir. Looks like it's not. All right, well then I'll install Metasploit. I thought it was on this machine, but if it isn't, I'll put it on. It's up at the top of this project, or the thing will move for me. There we go. All right, installing Metasploit. Go here, get the latest Windows installer. This wiki page, what is this garbage? All right, let me see if I can figure out what's going on. In the installing Metasploit on Windows section, all right. Maybe they've moved it to this other page or something. I guess they have. All right, how about this? Okay, now installing on Linux, and there should be an installing on Windows section somewhere. If I can get this thing to move. Okay. Ah, there we go. Okay, download the latest Windows installer. That would be fine. All right, good, that's easy. Okay, and that's an MSI, so it should be pretty easy. Of course, you have to have no antivirus for this. It will not mess up with your host machine. No, I'm working in a virtual machine. So putting it on the host machine, on this virtual machine, won't affect anything else. I install it here on this virtual machine. You don't want to put this on your main machine, not because it's malicious, but it'll set off your antivirus, and you have to turn off your antivirus to use it. So you use that machine. So I run this, and presumably, all right, run that. All right. And if you had antivirus, it would light up like a Christmas tree during this install, because this thing, of course, contains hundreds of known malicious signatures. It can make malware using a whole bunch of known exploits. So your antivirus regards this as containing about 100 viruses. All right, good. Well, let's see if it's going to work now. If that's in there, maybe I can, oh, let's go to my downloads folder again. I should be up here. There, all right. And I'll see if I can run this Metasploit command. And looks like it does run it. It doesn't complain. Yep, there it goes. It's running it, warning me something about a deprecated version, which is all right. They're using some function that's no longer considered the best, but it works. So, okay, more warnings. Good. Warnings are fine. And there it's done. It has created a shellbind.dil that's 8,700 bytes long. So if I do a dir, I will see it there, shellbind.dil. So it's made a malicious library file. Now, let's go back to here and talk about how to exploit this machine with a DIL. The firewall should already be off. Let me check and see if that's true. If I run firewall, firewall and network protection, I guess that'll do. Firewall is on, firewall is off. Oh, well, that's domain, though. I'm not in a domain. On a private network, it's off. On a public network, which is the one that's active, it is off. Okay, so the firewall is off. That's important because otherwise it'll block this listening processing, kill the exploit. Okay, now we're going to look at the MSDTC. So let's open services. You just need to find some way to run a DIL. And one way to do it is to exploit a listening service. And it turns out there are about 100 or more listening services on a Windows machine, and many of them are doing weird things you don't need that aren't important, and you can just hijack them. And one of them is this thing, the Distributed Transaction Coordinator. Whatever it does is something unimportant, and I can mess with that service, stop and start it, and nothing bad will happen. Should be somewhere here in the Ds. Dish, that's still diagnostic. Okay, DNS. Distributed Transaction Coordinator. Okay, this coordinates transactions that were used to span multiple resource managers like databases and message queues and such. And whatever it is, it turns out that you can stop it. And yeah, that's right, Rouhani. In the real world, you wouldn't use this exploit. You'd use a different exploit if you had the firewall on. Yeah. And there are hundreds of exploits in Metasploit, so you'd probably pick a different one if you're trying to exploit a machine that has the firewall on. All right, so like a reverse shell is what you typically use, something that doesn't open a listening port, but that makes an outgoing connection to your command and control server because the firewall will not block that. I just do this one because it's simpler. All right, so I'm going to check the logon here for this thing, MSDTC. Distributed Transaction Coordinator. Okay, if I right-click this thing and go to Properties, you can see that it is logging on as network service, which is a pretty highly privileged account, but for this exploit, I just prefer to run it as system. So I'm going to change it to local system account. There are a lot of services that do run as system, and you could probably find one, but anyway, I think I'm following a tutorial from somewhere. Anyway, oh dear. I probably hit the wrong button. Oh, maybe they're punishing me for not having the license. The license on this machine expired, and I wondered what would happen to punish me. And this might be what's happening. All right. I think it will shut me down every hour, and I started at about an hour. That's probably what's going to happen. I wanted to see what would happen if it expired, because I found different contradictory statements of what would happen. And one thing is it'll shut down every hour, which is not too bad. All right, it's starting. There's the CPU usage going up. Okay. When it comes down, it'll be ready. All right. All right, looks okay. The lion. Oh, you weren't lion. Okay, good. What was the value needed in the last example? Well, I don't know. You'll have to look at a clean file to figure out what value. I didn't demonstrate the last one. Yeah, so the way to solve the the 122, the last couple, is to open it in CFF Explorer and just look through the headers until you find something marked in red. Let me get the project open here, although I may not really need it. I think we will. I think we're going to have to copy some code from here, if not for this one, for the next one. All right. So, 126, project, and 124. All right. So, we made the malware, and turned off the firewall, and we were just messing with the MSDTC service. That was what we were doing, so we open that again. All right. Wonder if I can type it here. I can. Good. Neat. DIST. That should get me to it. It does. Pretty close. All right. There it is. If I go to Properties, I just want this thing to log on as system, so I can just choose that, which is what most of them do anyway. They run as local system. So I do that. And now, I imagine I stop and restart it, but let's check. All right, now we're going to look at it in Process Monitor. Okay. Well, I stop it and then look at it in Process Monitor. All right. This will take me a minute. So I stop this. Oh, it's not running anyway. Okay, that's fine then. So let's run Process Monitor. I think it's coming. Ah, there we go, getting permission, good. Okay, so here's Process Monitor. Now I want to configure a filter, so I'm going to stop sniffing, which is, okay, it's not capturing now. No, it is capturing. Okay, I'm going to hit this. Does that stop capturing? I think it did. Now I want to clear. All right. Now, I want this filter. The two filters at the top of the list, I want to only see MSDCC and process ending with DIL. So that's the filter here. Okay. So it's process. I'd move this over if it would move. Oh, there we go. Process name contains MSDTC. So process name, okay, contains MSDTC. Okay, add that. And then path ends with DIL. .dll. And it doesn't matter if you have minor variations. Those are things that will presumably stop showing me all these events and only show me the interesting events. All right, now I'm going to start it sniffing and run the distributed transaction coordinator. So this should start it listening. Okay, good. Now I launch the DIL, which is here. I start the service. Okay, and you see a bunch of events come by that it's picked up. So I'm going to stop sniffing, and I'm going to see if I can make it bigger font. Yeah, right, options font, good. Let's just make it some bigger. All right, and now we can see things here. And what we're going to do is we're going to find the part where it loads a DIL. So, yeah, by the way, you can view the service and see that it uses many DILs. Let's take a look at that, actually. If you look in Process Explorer. All right, so in Process Explorer, there should now be that service running. Somewhere in the top section, which is the stuff that runs as system, there is going to be MSDTC, probably towards the bottom because I just launched it. There it is, the last thing I launched, MSDTC. Now, I want to view the DLLs. So that's View, Lower Pane View, DLLs. Okay, and click up here, click down there. Somehow it is not showing them. That's rude. Well, I probably have to run this as system. That's right. It probably can't see the system process. I need to run Process Monitor or Process Explorer as system. It can't look inside a system process, of course, if it's not running as administrator. I'm running as administrator, not as system. There we are. Now, wonder if I can type MSD. Oh, neat. Just type it and it'll go right to it. Now I see all the DLLs. All right. So you can see the list of DLLs here, Advanced API, bcrypt something, in alphabetical order. And the thing to notice is that there is no OCI. If you go down here, there's a lot of DLLs that start with M, and there's OLE and OLEAuth, but there is no OCI or OCL. There's one, yeah, OCL. I think it's OCI. OCI.dll is missing. All right. So that's what we see in Process Explorer. And now if we look at the events here, that's what I'm looking for. You will find a DLL that was not found. You'll find an OCI event here. So let me see if I can find that. Let's see if I can make these. Nope, it doesn't. All right. These are all that process. Here's the operation. Okay. Here's the path. We're seeing the DLLs get loaded here. Here's the result. And I would make this a little, all right. And this can make wider. If I can find the right of it, I can make it wider. Anyway, I'm not going to worry about it. So let's just go down here and look for the failed events. These are things like file lock. That's not very interesting. What we're looking for is DLLs that tried to load that it could not load. And file lock, success, file lock. Let me check. I should see I'd scroll horizontally if I could figure. There we are. Oh, all right. Find the DLL was not found. I should be able to find OCI.dll. There may be some way to sort or something. Let's just go down here and see. There, name not. There is ole.dll. There's Edge, had some kind of problem. And OCI will be somewhere.
Can you press the path to let it sort it alphabetically?
Yeah, I could filter for just that one, but what I'm trying to do is show the process how you find this, because you don't know the name of it in advance. So what you do is you look for the ones that did not succeed, and I wonder if I can sort by that column. That would be easier. Let's see if I can go to the top. This thing doesn't like letting me scroll to the top. Let's see if this will work. Page up works. Okay. I wonder if I can sort by result. Apparently not. All right, well, that's annoying. Let's try using page down. We got pretty far down. Go to the bottom and come up from the bottom. Okay, there's success everywhere. And file lock. File lock. Name not found. There it is. OCI.dll not found. This is what I was looking for. So what happened here is it launched the process. You can filter by result, somebody says. Oh, that would be nice. Oh, I could filter by result. Yeah, that would be a good idea. Anyway, so this is the one I'm looking for. This is a mistake by a coder. What this means is, notice, it couldn't find it, it didn't load it, and yet it's running. So apparently, it asks for this DLL, but it doesn't actually use this DLL. Now, this is, of course, quite common when you're programming. You put the include file at the top of your C++, asking for this library, and then it may turn out that you don't actually use any functions in that library. You can see it uses dozens of libraries. So, but that is a hole we can exploit. It didn't find this OCI.dil because it's apparently not present in this version of Windows, but the code looked for it and didn't find it. So if we put something fake there, it will load it. And that's the point here. So we found the weakness. So all we have to do is stop the process and put our shellbind.dil instead of that OCI.dil. So let me go back to my administrator command prompt. I think I'll have to open a new one since the machine restarted. All right. And I'll make it bigger if, there we are, good. All right, let's go to the folder where the malicious DIL is, which is users, students, downloads. All right, and if I do a dir of shell star.star, there's my shellbind.dil. So first I'm going to stop the MSDTC process. I could do it in the graphical service manager. We can just do it from the command line to net stop MSDTC. So that Windows component will stop. Okay, now I can copy shellbind.dil into where the OCI should live, which is C Windows System 32 OCI.dil. I got to spell it right though. Okay. All right, and now I can, okay, now we're going to start process monitor. We've already got it, we might already have it going. I think we don't. Oh, that's what this is, right? Process monitor? Yeah, good. All right, so we're going to clear the old events and start monitoring and then restart the process. Okay, so we start sniffing and restart the process in the command prompt, net start MSDTC. All right, now it starts again. The OCI.dil file will load. You'll be able to find it here. And there's a flag, so you have to hunt through there and find it. And then we can now use the shell. Now it's listening, and we should be able to detect that. If I go to my command prompt, this command prompt is hanging for reasons we'll talk about in a minute. It didn't really finish starting that process correctly because the Metasploit attack is pretty fouled up and sloppy, and it doesn't load correctly. But if I open another prompt and make this wider, oops, I said make this wider. You're going to let me have the handle? Click on this, grab for the handle. There we are, I had it, there we are. All right, so if I do netstat minus an pipe more, it'll show me network connections, and you see there is something listening on 4444. So, since there is, I can connect to it by, I think, ncat 127.001.4444. Yep, and now I'm in, and if I do who am I am system above the administrator. So it is opening a system shell. That's why I elevated my privileges to system. Probably that other account would work just as well. I just wanted to be able to demonstrate I'm beyond the administrator. So I can exit here. All right. So I think when I did that, this will finally stop, but maybe not. Anyway, that's the point. You've now seen a very simple sloppy exploit run by DIL replacement. And let's see if I have anything in here to say, yeah. So now we can remove the malicious DIL. So what we're going to do is find the process monitor. Yep, and you can end it in task manager. That's one way to do it. And then delete the OCI.dil. So let me go back and see if I need to delete it. I thought I might have already killed it by connecting and disconnecting. So let's go back to here and run that netstat again. It is now stopped. Now I've killed the process. So now I can just delete that file. So I'll go back to my other command prompt. And I'll hit Control-C to stop this. Okay, now I'm going to stop that process. I'm not sure it ever really got started, but I'm going to stop it. Okay, starting or stopping. Yeah, it might have hung on me, but I can probably delete that file anyway. Let's go here where I made that file. Should be somewhere in this up-down list. There we are. There it is. I can just delete this file. It should not be in use anymore. We'll see. Access is denied. All right. I might have to restart the machine to get that process to stop using it, or perhaps I can try stopping it again. Yeah. Anyway, the thing is, it kind of fouls up the machine, and the reason this all happens is because the Metasploit malware places the malware right in the win main of the DIL, in the DIL main. And so what goes on is when you first load a DIL, it runs DIL main, which is supposed to prepare it for requests of all the services exports, all the functions exports. And Metasploit just puts malware right there. So it will automatically run as soon as it's loaded. But that stops it from loading properly and freezes up the service and everything. So it's pretty sloppy stuff. There probably are optional advanced features you could use in Metasploit to make a better attack. There's the just default attack, which as you can see is pretty sloppy. And next we'll do a better one. But anyway, that's what I wanted to show you there. That's the first example here of exploiting it by replacing a DIL. And this is the main way most infections work on Windows. So let me stop this video.